My name is Mason Gray and I am 19 years old. I'd always kind of been an artistic person. I like drawing, I like messing around with my hands, building stuff. It all started off with bows and arrows. Whenever I was about 13, I was out with my dad hiking around in the woods and there's some cane growing. And he cut that cane, made like a little bow with like a shoestring and all that. And I thought it was really cool. And it was that's what sparked me. After that, I just taught myself how to use the tools the best way, the most efficient way. I'd say one of the most important mentors is probably Tim Grayson. I was introduced to him winter of 2012. And my mother, she told me about this guy because that's when I kind of started getting interested in making bows and arrows a lot. She said, I can introduce you to Tim. He knows how to make bows and arrows. He's a national treasure. So being introduced to Tim is probably one of the more important things with me learning how to make things. Learning about, history and what people were doing back then. Because Tim's been doing all that for a long time. He was raised in his culture, making bows and arrows ever since he was real little. I used to go and volunteer out at the ancient village. Every weekend I could in the summertime or any day of the week, I'd ride up with my mom to work and she'd drop me off at the village and I'd just hang out with Tim all day, I'm really glad that he did take the time to talk to me, answer all my questions.
Well, passing on information to Mason, I think one of the most important things I told him was don't just listen to me, listen to everybody. But for Mason, he always had an interest in it, and he was interested in it, so I'd tell him what I could. But I didn't want to take all the, all the thrill of it away.
Of learning
how to do it, yeah, because you get so much more out of learning how to do it.
This is important to me because those people were my ancestors. A lot of my ancestors I know would have made canoes.
Knowing what my ancestors were doing, knowing their history, that's what kind of drives me to do things and make things, is because I have a desire for the history that we're making right now to be talked about in the future. My experience at Standing Rock, it was a mix of good and bad. The good was, within the camps. And so going there, those are the good parts I took were like the community, just how everybody really did work together, had a really, really strong sense of community that really does remind you of a historical, like what you would think of a village with indigenous people 200-300 years ago. That was functioning the same way, now it still is. People cooking for everybody, people making sure everybody's warm and has clothes. That's like a very, indigenous way of thinking, I think, because everybody took care of each other, and that's exactly what happened at Standing Rock. So that's probably one of the most memorable experiences I had at Standing Rock. Just being there and witnessing firsthand what the whole reason that people were there for, It changed my view of what people can do whenever they all have a like-minded goal, and you can really achieve a lot, just like, we did apparently stop the pipeline, and there's still, more work to be done, I think, in that part. But overall, just what people achieved being there together and working together was really great. A lot of people today are pretty greedy. They don't want to help people they don't know. At Standing Rock, I knew my mom and my uncle, and that was it. But everybody there was like family to me. And so that whole experience of the community and the respect people had for each other, different indigenous people being there, respecting each other's cultures, learning from each other's cultures. That's really what I'm going to take with the rest of my life, is just knowing what people can do whenever they come together. 30 years from now, I can see myself teaching. I plan to become more fluent in the language. I can see myself either teaching the Cherokee language or teaching people just anything about our culture. Doing the same thing that I'm doing now, just on hopefully a larger scale so I can reach more people. Or whenever I go and present places and I'm talking to younger kids, a lot of them, whenever I talk to especially young Cherokee kids from Cherokee communities, whenever they see things and they'll come up and talk to me and look at my bows or arrows or stickball sticks, they'll say, oh, my grandpa makes bows and arrows or something. Or I'll talk to them and I'll tell them, you have a good teacher right there. And so if I can inspire young kids, older kids, adults, older people even, to go and talk to their relatives or talk to anybody that's knowledgeable about anything that interests them. I've seen some kids, they'll come and look at my stuff and really get, you know, a little bit interested in it, and they want to know how it's made. They want to know what it's made out of. And those are the kids that I hope will end up, you know, doing what I do, teaching other people.